Have you ever wondered what happens when a powerful man's carefully built empire begins to crumble? Not because of business rivals, but because of a shocking betrayal from someone he trusted. Like a brother, Michael Harper lived a life of control and success. But beneath that polished surface lurked secrets that could destroy everything he held dear. What if the greatest threat wasn't outside forces, but the ghost from his own past? In this story, one unexpected moment of forgiveness and love sets off a chain of events that will change Michael's life forever. Stay with us because what happens next will challenge everything you think about power, family, and redemption. You won't want to miss how a fractured family finds healing in the most surprising way. Trust me, the ending will leave you breathless. Michael Harper was a man who commanded respect and fear in equal measure, though no one ever dared to speak to him beyond the bare minimum. At Harper & Associates, nestled in one of the sleekest skyscrapers of New York's Upper West Side, Michael ruled like a silent monarch. His presence was felt in the tense silence that fell whenever he entered a room. Employees knew better than to engage him in small talk. The unspoken rule was simple, unnecessary conversation meant immediate dismissal. In the gleaming halls of the company with floor-to-ceiling windows offering panoramic views of the city's iconic skyline, secretaries busied themselves with their tasks, avoiding even eye contact. Security guards snapped to attention when his sleek black Tesla pulled into the underground garage. The firm spanned 5 entire floors adorned with Italian-imported furnishings and rare art pieces worth more than many families' homes. Financial reports were delivered with sweating hands and voices trembling beneath the pressure. Mr. Harper, our quarterly growth is 15%, his chief financial officer, David Collins, announced one afternoon, trying to keep his composure. Good, Michael replied curtly. Next item, short answers, quick decisions, no room for distractions. Michael's office was a fortress glass walls with a one-way view allowing him to watch without being watched. There he worked relentlessly, ignoring the world beyond numbers and contracts. Outside, his life was as cold and meticulous as his office. His penthouse in the Upper West Side spanned over 5,000 square feet, a private sanctuary with a 360-degree view of New York. Marble floors gleamed, and the decor was modern, monochrome, and impersonal. Grace Bennett, his housekeeper for 6 years, knew the unspoken rules well. At exactly 7 a.m. every morning, she greeted him with a respectful, "Good morning, Mr. Harper," to which he barely nodded in response. She prepared his double espresso black and French toast lightly toasted, delivering it to the balcony silently before retreating to the background. Michael's world was one of strict routine built on control and isolation, until the day Emily Dawson and her daughter Lily stepped into his life. Emily, a determined woman from the rural Appalachian region, had begged for the job of housekeeper. "Please, Mr. Harper, I have no one to watch my daughter," she had pleaded during her interview. The nursery she relied on had closed, and she had no one else. Michael reluctantly agreed on the condition that Lily remain quiet and unseen. The morning Emily and Lily arrived, the silence of the penthouse seemed heavier than usual. Lily, only 5, clung to her mother's hand tightly. Her wide brown eyes absorbed the cold luxury around her. The marble floors, the austere modern furniture, the crystal chandelier that sparkled like a frozen star above the entrance hall. "Be very quiet, Lily," Emily whispered. "Mr. Harper doesn't like noise." She crouched down to her daughter's level. "Remember, be like a sleeping bird." Lily nodded solemnly, clutching her worn rag doll. Clara, a hand-me-down from their kind neighbor Mrs. Helen Carter, who had been the only person to bring a Christmas gift last year. For the first 2 weeks, Emily's precision in cleaning impressed even Grace, who was used to managing a housekeeper or two. Every surface shined, carpets were spotless. Michael, typically quick to complain, said nothing. Lily found a quiet corner near the bookshelves to play, inventing stories in whispers, giving her doll adventures and friends no one else could hear. Behind his glass walls, Michael was beginning to notice something different. The penthouse, once lifeless, now carried a faint pulse. Sometimes, amidst the thrum of business, he caught Lily's soft voice asking, "Mom, can I help clean this pretty table?" Emily's gentle replies softened the cold air. "You help by being a good girl and staying quiet." One afternoon, Michael left his office briefly and saw Lily standing before the massive saltwater aquarium imported from Japan. Her tiny hands pressed against the thick glass, as she watched the exotic fish glide between artificial coral and swaying plants. "They look like jewels swimming," she whispered, her face lighting up. Michael froze the sight, unexpectedly stirring a distant memory. His father, a factory worker in rural Ohio, had once promised him fish like these if he worked hard. His father never lived to see Michael's success. The weight of the memory cracked something inside him. Then came the call that shattered his world. Dr. Jonathan Wells, his cardiologist, delivered devastating news: Michael's heart was failing. His left ventricle was severely dilated, functioning at only 20% capacity. Without a transplant, he had mere months left. The empire he built, the deals closed. The millions earned, it all meant nothing in the face of mortality. Alone in his marble corridor, Michael's walls crumbled. Tears streamed down his face, silent and unchecked, until a small hand, Lily's, gently reached up and wiped them away. Without words, without fear or judgment, she offered the simplest gift he had long forgotten: kindness. "Why are you crying, Uncle Mike?" she asked, her voice small but steady. Before Michael could answer, Emily's hurried footsteps echoed. Panic flickered across her face as she saw her daughter comforting the man everyone feared. But Michael raised his hand, halting Emily. "No," he said hoarsely. "She isn't bothering me. Quite the opposite." Lily's innocent words cut through the silence. "I wiped your tears like you wipe mine when I fall." For the first time in years, Michael spoke a word of thanks that wasn't about business. "Thank you, Lily." As the sun dipped below the city skyline, something shifted inside the cold businessman. The fortress around his heart softened, and a fragile hope took root. A hope nurtured by a ragged doll, a brave little girl, and a mother's love. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the interruption, but we hope you will help us improve our content in the future. What would you do if the most powerful person in your life showed a hidden vulnerability? Have you ever experienced a moment where a child's innocence completely changed your perspective? Share your thoughts below. Would you want to be part of a family like Michael's? Michael Harper's world, once a silent fortress of control and cold calculation, was quietly shifting beneath his feet. The fragile thread of hope, spun by Lily's innocent touch, was pulling at the edges of his steel-clad heart, yet the shadows inside his life were deeper and darker than anyone could have guessed. Days after the heart-wrenching moment when Lily wiped away his tears, Michael found himself staring out over the city skyline. From his penthouse, a restless energy stirring within. His thoughts were a whirlwind of fear, regret, and a sudden desperate need to connect, to truly live, if only for a little while longer. But Michael's personal demons were relentless. For years, he had kept his emotions locked away, wielding his success like armor. Now, faced with his mortality, every unspoken sorrow, every lost relationship clawed its way back to the surface. He knew he had to confront the wreckage of his past if he wanted to grasp any chance at redemption. Meanwhile, Emily and Lily continued settling into the Harper household. Emily's warmth and strength were like a soft light in the otherwise sterile mansion. She quietly managed the demands of the sprawling estate, while keeping a watchful eye on Lily, who had started to bloom despite the cold surroundings. One late autumn evening, Michael unexpectedly summoned Emily to his office. The room felt different, less harsh, the city lights casting a softer glow through the glass walls. His voice was barely above a whisper. "Emily, I need you to do something important." Emily's heart pounded. Was this a new test? A challenge? She nodded carefully. Michael continued, "I want you to organize a dinner for someone very important." Before Emily could respond, he dropped a name that made her breath hitch: my estranged sister Claire. The name sent shockwaves through the air. Claire Harper had vanished from Michael's life over a decade ago after a bitter family feud tore them apart. Rumors whispered of betrayal and shattered trust, but no one knew the full story, least of all Emily. The tension was thick. For a man so used to commanding everything with iron precision, asking a stranger to rebuild bridges seemed almost impossible. Yet here he was, asking Emily, the woman he barely trusted, for a task that pierced his own emotional armor. Days later, Emily nervously prepared the penthouse for the dinner. It was an elegant affair, but the atmosphere was charged with uncertainty. Lily clung to her mother's side, sensing the tension. When Claire Harper arrived, the resemblance was undeniable, the same piercing green eyes and strong jawline, but Claire's demeanor was sharper, her smile tight and guarded. The years apart had hardened her, but beneath the surface, Emily sensed a tremor of vulnerability. Michael greeted Claire with a mixture of caution and longing. The conversation started stiff, rehearsed lines masking deeper wounds. Emily watched as old grievances bubbled beneath the surface. Words like betrayal, abandonment, and family lies punctuated the strained dialogue. Suddenly, as a storm raged outside, Claire dropped a bombshell. "Michael, you don't know the truth about Dad's death, and it's time you did." The room went silent. Michael's eyes narrowed, disbelief and fury clashing. "What are you talking about?" Claire leaned forward, voice low and urgent. "It wasn't an accident. Someone wanted him gone. Someone we both trusted." Emily's heart raced. The delicate threads of Michael's life were unraveling, fast, exposing secrets that threatened to destroy what little peace he had found. In the days that followed, Michael plunged into an investigation haunted by revelations that cut deeper than his failing heart. The man he had trusted most, his longtime business partner and friend Richard Mallory, was implicated in shady dealings that might have led to his father's death. Michael confronted Richard in a private meeting in the company's penthouse boardroom. The tension was electric. Accusations flew like daggers. Richard denied everything, but the cracks in his story were glaring. "You don't know what you're talking about," Richard sneered. "Your father was weak. He was an obstacle." Michael's voice was cold as steel. "Then you'll have to answer to me." But Richard had one last card. "If you dig deeper, you'll lose everything. Your company, your fortune, your life." The threat hung in the air like a guillotine blade. Michael realized this fight was more dangerous than he ever imagined. Back at the penthouse, Michael's health deteriorated rapidly. Each heartbeat was a painful reminder of his limited time. Yet amid the chaos, Lily's laughter echoed through the halls, a fragile melody of hope. One night, as a fierce winter storm battered the city, Emily found Michael sitting alone by the aquarium, eyes distant. "I'm scared," he admitted quietly. "Not just for myself, but for the people I might hurt when this all ends." Emily sat beside him, her voice steady and warm. "You're not alone, Michael. We're here. Lily's here. I'm here." That night, Michael made a decision. He would fight not just for his life, but to expose the truth, protect his legacy, and finally embrace the family he had pushed away for so long. The battle ahead would be brutal, filled with betrayals and painful choices. But for the first time, Michael Harper was ready to confront his demons head-on with the unexpected strength of a little girl who had softened his heart and a woman who dared to believe in him. Michael Harper's journey reached its most perilous turning point. The truth he had unearthed threatened not only his empire, but the very fabric of his family. The discovery that Richard Mallory, the man Michael once trusted as a brother, had orchestrated his father's demise shattered every illusion Michael held. Yet in the darkest hour, a surprising light began to shine, not from wealth or power, but from the bonds of love and forgiveness. After confronting Richard, Michael realized that exposing the truth would come at a cost. Richard wielded influence, and a smear campaign was launched to discredit Michael, painting him as unstable and reckless. But Michael no longer cared about public perception. His priorities had changed. He turned his attention to Claire, who had returned to the family fold not only to seek reconciliation, but to help him rebuild trust and heal wounds that had festered for too long. Together with Emily and Lily, they formed a fragile but hopeful alliance, united by the desire to reclaim their family's honor and protect the innocent. In the quiet moments, Lily's presence was a balm for Michael's troubled soul. Her laughter filled the empty spaces of the mansion and reminded him of the beauty and simplicity, a child's pure joy amidst chaos. Her unconditional love was a catalyst for Michael's own transformation. Michael's health, though fragile, improved slightly thanks to Emily's dedicated care and the renewed purpose he found in fighting for his family's future. He began attending therapy sessions, opening up about years of buried pain and learning to confront his fears. One afternoon, Michael invited Richard for a final meeting, not in a sterile boardroom, but at the family estate where so many memories lingered. The confrontation was charged with years of anger and betrayal. Richard faced with undeniable evidence, and Michael's unwavering resolve broke down, revealing his own desperation and regrets. The power he once wielded slipped away as he agreed to cooperate with authorities in exchange for leniency. With justice on its path, Michael focused on repairing his fractured relationships. He and Claire spent hours talking, late into the night, unearthing painful memories but also rediscovering shared joys from their childhood. Their reconciliation wasn't easy or perfect, but it was a testament to the power of forgiveness. Emily's role evolved from caretaker to partner in Michael's life. The walls he had built around himself started to crumble, allowing love and vulnerability to seep through. She became not only a source of strength for Michael, but also a beloved figure for Lily, who thrived in this newfound family harmony. The climax of this healing journey was a simple but profound moment, a family dinner at the estate under the warm glow of candlelight, where laughter replaced tension and hope outshone despair. Michael looked around the table, seeing faces that had once been strangers or foes now bound by shared resilience and love. Reflecting on his transformation, Michael realized that true wealth was never about money or power, but about the connections we nurture, the love we give, and the courage to face our past. He resolved to use his resources not just for personal gain, but to create opportunities for others to be a force for good. Lily's innocent question one evening lingered in his mind. "Daddy, will you be okay?" It was more than a plea for reassurance, it was a challenge to live a better life, and Michael vowed to answer it with every breath he had left. In the final chapter of his life, Michael found peace not in escape or denial, but in acceptance and the embrace of family. The story of betrayal, secrets, and loss had evolved into a tale of redemption, love, and hope. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the interruption, but we hope you will help us improve our content in the future. What did you think about Michael's transformation? Have you ever witnessed someone change so deeply because of love and forgiveness? Share your thoughts below. If this story touched your heart, please comment 100 to show your support. Let me know which country you're watching from, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. Your story matters, and so does your voice.